Hello there. So, over the last couple of days, there's been this big controversy at the World Cup about the US player Balogun. I think it was. He was sent off in the last round of 32 game against Bosnia. But then the whole thing kicked off because it seemed like Donald Trump got in touch with the FIFA president and they've invoked something called Article 67 or something. So the red card wasn't overturned, but it was almost like a suspended card for 1 year, which meant he could play in the game against Belgium uh, last night or early hours of this morning in the UK time. You know, so this will be my honestly, I'm just going to give my thoughts here. And first and foremost, I'm going to say one thing here for any Americans, American football fans, or anything like that. You know, this is nothing against you and anything like that, especially the good fans. There's a few fannies out there, and we get that everywhere in all countries. But and we'll get into this, and we'll have a bit of banter. Might take the piss a little bit, but nothing against the good people and all that as well with that. And of course, let's be real. I've talked plenty of shite about Scotland as well, and shite and Scotland go in the same sentence because Scotland are shite at football. So, and politics as well. We'll get into that. So, I don't want this to be a huge politics thing or anything like that, but I do feel like the fact that Belgium absolutely thumped the United States last night, 4-1, is a victory for sport and integrity. Now, this whole Article 67 thing is apparently it's never been done at a World Cup before, other than once in 1962. And now, see, this is something I didn't even know about. They did this something similar for Ronaldo because Ronaldo must have got sent off in like a playoff or the last qualifier or something like that. And then, but they did it for Ronaldo as well, so he didn't miss the first group game. Do you really think they'd have done it for any Joe Blow nobody if that happened? So, no, of course not. If same thing would happen with Messi, same thing would happen with probably like Harry Kane or Mbappe or anyone like that. It would happen. Let's be real. So we all know FIFA is corrupt to the core. Always has been. Always will be. You had Sepp Blatter coming out talking about this, which is ironic. It's bad when big Sepp Blatter's getting involved. I mean, you could say he's got a bit of a cheek like people in glass houses and all that. But yeah, it is an absolute shit show. I mean, you can even go back to December, the World Cup draw as well, and the whole fucking manufactured peace prize for Donald Trump to feed the big giant toddler's ego. Let's be honest, utter fucking shambles. I mean, what an absolute shit show that was. But you can see, what was it in the rest is football? Gary Lineker was calling Infantino. What was it? Oh, was it called him? Oh, I can't actually remember him, but he had actually quite a good little nickname for him as well. So or Sycophantino, that was it, Sycophantino, which actually sums it up perfectly. So it's an absolute shit show. And right, here's the thing, right? The whole thing is, a lot of the talk is the Balogun red card was harsh, probably the wrong decision. It actually exposes other problems because there's not an appeals process. Now, there should be an appeals process for wrong decisions and things like that. It should be like, look, you can have an appeal within 24 hours or something like that. As long as you submit it within 24 hours and there's plenty of time before the next game, or at least a couple of days before the next game, you can do that and then it can be overturned and all that. Fantino was banging on about saying like, "Oh, it was all done independently," and yes, I spoke to all other world leaders and all that. It's just like, and yet the whole thing as well, it just stinks of corruption. It absolutely does. It's corrupt to the core. You had that fucking idiot Donald Trump on there, and I'm gonna say it, he's a fucking idiot. You can get a fit if you're one of his little sycophants like Sycophantino that thinks he can do no wrong. Then I said I'd be cool with Americans and all that, but if you're one of those people who are part of the cult, the cult of cunt, as I call you, because you're not just a cult, you're a bunch of cunts that think everything this guy says is true and the sun shines out of his fucking arse, then I am going to take the piss out of you, okay? So go fuck yourself if you don't like it. And we're just as bad in Scotland with the SNP, by the way. We actually are, just on a much smaller scale that no one in the world gives a fuck about, let's be real. So, but that idiot going, yeah, it definitely wasn't a foul, but I didn't even know what a red card was. Can't believe he doesn't even he misses the next game, and it's just like he's talking as if he's some sort of fucking expert, and then he's like on files and things like that, and then he's like he doesn't know what a red card is. What a fucking idiot! He just made himself look like an even bigger idiot than usual. It's actually took away a lot of the goodwill. Egypt have just took the lead against Argentina, by the way. I'm doing this. I've got the sound off while I'm recording this. So, yeah, good header. It's not Salah, it's a good header, though. Put them in the lead. So, yeah, there you go. Yeah. Anyway, back to this. Anyway, so, right. There was a lot of goodwill to the US football team as well. Our soccer team, it's soccer ball. Yeah. I hope we do well in the fourth quarter. Yeah, exactly. So, banter, that's not anything bad. But, you know, they played really well. I mean, they gubbed Paraguay 4-2 in the first game, and look at how hard Paraguay have been. Like France the other night, obviously they put Germany out the round of 32. They beat Turkey with 10 men. They're obviously a very stuffy team to play against. So the fact they scored 4 goals again, actually an open game against them, I think they maybe changed their tactics a little bit after that. But that is really great for the US doing that. They beat Australia comfortably. I seen that game. They were 2-0 up in the first 20 odd minutes and absolutely smoked them. And then really good. Even the game against Turkey, they lost 3-2. I seen that game. They were great in it. It was a really entertaining game, but it didn't matter because Turkey were already out and US were already group winners, so it didn't matter. I didn't see the Bosnia game. It was one of the late ones, just seen the highlights. But beating them comfortably, the team that beat Italy to get to to actually qualify. So the US were a really good team, and to be fair, even a lot of the supporters, the ones that were getting interviewed, like on the Rest is Football show with on Netflix, a lot of them were actually the vast majority of them spoke to you were expecting them to be all these people like, yeah, Team USA, soccer ball, we're gonna win, yeah, no matter what, we're the best team ever, yeah, fuck everyone else. Don't get me wrong, there's those people mainly on Twitter, and there's a lot of idiots on Twitter about everything, not just football, let's be real, and from all countries, not just from America, let's be real. So but there was one person who was kind of like that. The last person they spoke to was like, "Yeah, we're gonna win no matter what." But they were actually quite level-headed. They were like, "Yeah, we're proud of the team and and playing well." One of them said, "Somebody said, do you think you're going to win?" And then the guy said, "The heart says yes, but the head says no. But I'm proud of the team how they're playing." I'm just like, "Yeah, that's a level-headed guy who knows what he's talking about. He's clearly a real fan of soccer." you know. But so they actually were doing well. And going into this game, I wanted them to beat Belgium, to be honest. I think Belgium were hell of a fucking lucky the other day. Belgium used to be good, but they've been kind of shite for a while. They've flattered to see for a while. They're crap in the group. I know they beat New Zealand, but whatever, 5-1. Didn't see that game. That was one of the late games. But the games I watched them in the group, I think it was against Egypt and Iran. They were fucking pish. Oh, by the way, Iran managed to get a draw off Belgium. So stick that one in your pipe, USA. I'm just saying. But you know, so there is. So Belgium won any. They obviously 2018 finished third in the World Cup. They had a really good side then. That was their peak then. They have flattered to deceive for a while. I know they're officially ranked number 9 in the world, but world rankings aren't always all that, to be honest. But they've not been great. And like, if you see the Senegal game, they were fucking shite for about 85 minutes in that game, and then 2-0 down. Yet they get the 2 late goals to equalise, dodgy penalty to win it, and now it's almost sort of like to use another American phrase, the Project Hail Mary. Well, not project, but a Hail Mary for them after that, because now they've kind of almost it's like it's galvanised them. Now they've got Spain in the quarterfinals. We'll see how that one goes. We'll see how good they really are there. Let's be real. But they've kicked on from this. So the whole thing, though, is an absolute farce. And it's like with the whole just, yeah, technically there's this clause 3067 or whatever the fuck it's called. But people have been bringing up there is another clause in there that if a political influencer or political leader or anything tries to interfere in anything to do with the football or games or results or anything, that country should be kicked out the tournament straight away. So, in theory, technically, USA should have been kicked out the tournament. They should have been, with this fucking idiot throwing his weight about. You've now opened a whole fucking can of worms now with this. It looks like Argentina have got a penalty, by the way. So, we might get some live commentary here as well. Not that it'll be live, because somebody could listen to this like 3 years later or something like that. It's like, all right, but whatever. It looks like it. Well, we'll get to that in a minute. But you've opened this up because anyway, people are saying, why isn't King Charles fucking phone up and say, can we get the red card? We got rescinded for the next game. Technically, yes, you could start doing that. So it's absolutely fucking ridiculous. Yes. So it's an utter fucking farce, like. What an absolute farce. And it's really calling integrity even more so into question for FIFA. And that's fucking saying something with their history is apparently, right, we're going to do some live commentary here. We've got Messi on the spot here. Even if he misses, like he did, he has missed a penalty this one. I mean, he's technically still in the World Cup, unlike Ronaldo, but still, you know. So there we go. You don't get this sort of coverage on ITV, on BBC, and all that. So, Messi, but to step up. Hope he doesn't shit himself, then he'll have Messi knickers. But I see, you don't get that. You don't get that. You get a banner with me. Come on. Right, Messi stepping up. Here we go. That's fucking safe. He's done it again. He's definitely shat it right there. Anyway, maybe I just put the hoodoos on them, or the poodoos if you shat. Sorry. Sorry. Right, okay. What the fuck was I talking about there? Anyway, right, we go on now. Right, it is a farce. Like it is calling into question integrity and things like that. And then you've got as well, Belgium would be preparing for the game, thinking that Balogun's not playing. And then USA, even then, it can fuck them up because it's put Pochettino in an impossible situation. So it's like, oh, some people say, well, maybe he shouldn't play him. But then it's like, well, okay, if he didn't play them and they got gubbed 4-1, then you get told, well, we're fuck you. But yeah, it's an absolute joke. Like, but also they would have been preparing for the game without Balogun as well. So that kind of throws their game plan out the window as well at the last minute. So you've almost in an arse roundabout way fucked it up. And a lot of people I'm saying, there's been a lot of goodwill to the USA team and everything. And like I said, nothing against the team. The team's been really good. I actually feel sorry for the players and the people involved with the team and the real fans and everything like that. Not the people who are just like, yeah, come on, man, yeah, fuck yeah, sucker, yeah. Fuck those idiots. But, the actual real, genuine people that aren't complete arsewipes, I actually do feel sorry for them and that. But here's the glorious thing. I said that US should technically have been kicked out. And I actually thought US might actually have won this game even before without Balogun. I had a funny feeling they were going to go through. Now, my predictions are shit, mostly. But, yeah, you see that and you sort of think, well, I was thinking because Belgium are no great shakes, although they kind of rolled the clocks back a little bit last night, but they've not been any great shakes, but other than really like the last few minutes against Senegal and then last night. So I did, although Belgium apparently beat US 5-2 in a friendly, maybe they just like playing US, I don't know. But friendly's a friendly, whatever, who gives a fuck. But it was kind of similar scoreline actually, same deficit in that sense by 3 goals. Excuse me. So there is that. So I'm just thinking, you know, I actually thought there was a bit of me that thought, what if USA win like 2-1 or something and Balogun gets the winning goal? I thought this, if that happened, that's going to be an absolute shitstorm. And I was saying, well, technically they should have been thrown out the tournament, but I'm glad they weren't. Yeah, I'll tell you why. Because if they were, this would have actually been an absolute sandstorm, things being settled off the pitch. But you know what? They played the game and they got absolutely fucking humped. And that serves the people right who thought this was a great thing to do. And I know some people are going to say, well, what about your country? If you've done that, like, what? Can you imagine fucking John Swinney for the SNP for up and all that shit? Like I said about the cult in Scotland and the cunts in Scotland, fuck the SNP and fuck the Scottish football team. They're shite. I will say one thing: the US team, despite the result last night, has done the fans proud, has done the country proud. That's not their fault. This whole shit show. But Scotland team did not. John Swinney was like, "Oh, the boys did us proud." No, they didn't. They're fucking shite. But then again, him and his government are fucking shite. So there you go. They have 2 peas in a pod there. John Swinney though, I don't know if he'd phone up and try and get the red card rescinded. He'd probably just blame Westminster. But whatever, that's a whole other story. But so Look at it this way. I mean, it is karma that they actually, it was actually, it was settled on the pitch like it should be. And it was a karma. You very rarely get karma when it comes to like corruption. And speaking of Scottish football, look at what happened with Celtic and Hearts a few weeks ago. So you know, we ain't innocent here either. Let's be real. Let's be. I'll be real with you. You might not like what I've got to say, but I'll be real. I'll shoot from the hip, and I'll fucking tell you what I think about both sides, whatever country you're from. So so at least, it was a victory for sport and integrity. And you had fucking idiots like that End Wokeness account on Twitter. And I'm not calling it X, sorry, I'm not. That fucking End Wokeness account was like, well, now we can go back to pretending to not, now we can stop pretending about soccer anymore. And then there was actually receipts of people saying that I bet you once America get gobbed, there's going to be all these tweets about that. And lo and behold, so that End Wokeness account's fucking dumb as shit. Like, no doubt they'll be greeting about the Odyssey for weeks to come. But whatever, I digress. Anyway, that's just my thoughts. You know, USA won, Belgium 4, a victory for sporting integrity, and you love to see it. Anyway, thanks for taking the time to listen, and goodbye.